horrific crime in California is stirring emotions tonight and fueling demands for tougher action on illegal immigration.
The murder of a young woman who was walking with her dad in San Francisco this month was the subject of a Senate hearing in Washington today. KCAL9 political reporter Dave Bryan live in our newsroom with the outrage over sanctuary laws. Dave?
Lena, Juan, that case has grabbed a lot of headlines. There was also a second case that has stirred the pot, the sexual assault of a 14-year-old girl in Santa Clarita, allegedly done by another man in the country illegally. The issue was the subject of a hearing in Washington. Jim Steinle told his Senate committee he was walking arm in arm with his 32-year-old daughter, Catherine, along the waterfront in San Francisco 3 weeks ago when she was struck in the chest by a bullet. There were tears in the room as he described her last moments.
Suddenly a shot rang out. Kate fell and looked at me and said, "Help me, Dad." Those are the last words I will ever hear from my daughter.
The man accused of shooting her, Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez, is an illegal immigrant with a long rap sheet who had been deported repeatedly. Although he has now pleaded not guilty, 5 days after the shooting, Lopez Sanchez had this conversation with a local reporter.
Did you shoot Kate Steinle, the lady who was down on Pier 14?
Yes. Sorry for everybody.
Critics charged Lopez Sanchez should never have been released by the sheriff's department. But since San Francisco is a sanctuary city, federal officials at ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, were never notified that he was being set free.
A simple notification to ICE could have prevented Kate Steinle's death.
Congress is considering withholding some federal funding from sanctuary cities which don't cooperate with federal officials in ICE, like San Francisco. And Jim Steinle pleaded with them to take action to prevent more killings like his daughter's.
We feel strongly that some legislation should be discussed, enacted, or changed to take these undocumented immigrant felons off our streets for good. We feel if Kate's law saves one daughter, one son, a mother, a father, Kate's death won't be in vain.
The hearing comes as another case in Southern California is getting attention as well. This man, Kane Dean, who was in the U.S. illegally and was released on bond at the end of April, a registered sex offender who served time in prison for burglary as well, is charged with having sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl who was found by sheriff's deputies hiding in the garage of Dean's parents' home in Santa Clarita. Critics charge in both cases illegal immigrants who are criminals received lenient treatment after committing crimes, and that, they say, is unacceptable.
What we need is an expedited process for removing people who are subject to deportation. The presumption ought to be, especially in the case of this guy in Santa Clarita, who has some sex offenses on his record, who has spent time in prison, that he's not going to be able to qualify to remain here in the United States.
But immigrants' rights activists say it's time to come up with solutions to these problems that ensure public safety while respecting the human rights of all immigrants.
In moments like this, it's important to sit back, to breathe, and to think about the comprehensive solutions that we can bring about together.
Well, her group sent a letter to Congress urging them to keep hands off sanctuary cities. The first vote on this issue is expected in the House later this week. Reporting live from the newsroom, Dave Bryan, KCAL 9 News. Juan, back to you.
All right.